So I have a question for you. What do you think we need to create a happy and lasting relationship with a man? It's going to be an interactive masterclass, so I would like for you to participate, and you can shout loud and tell me what you think, what we need in order to be happy with man and create not just happiness, right? But create happy, lasting relationship with them. What do you think?
Patience came to my mind. That we need like plenty of patience.
Okay, patience. Okay. Thank you, Anya.
I think be happy within ourselves and love ourselves.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that.
I would say to be able to feel safe and trust the man you're with.
Have safety and trust, huh? Yeah?
Acceptance of your partner, where they are now.
Ladies, everything you're saying is correct. But at the same time, what's missing in order to create a happy and lasting relationship is a blueprint. Blueprint. Because let's say that you decided to build a house. Don't you need a blueprint how to build a house? Yeah, we don't just take bricks and cement and the door and the window and start putting it together. Because if we're going to start putting it together, it will collapse. We need a blueprint. And most of the people, when I led this program years ago, not years ago, actually a year and a half ago, people in the program were telling me, Alisa, this blueprint that you're sharing is like a medieval time, old school. Nobody is doing it. But I would say that it's better to have a bad formula, bad blueprint that you can tweak and change and fit into your philosophy than not having blueprint or formula for a relationship at all. Because imagine that you don't have a driver license and you're trying to drive in Poland or in New York or in Kenya or Colorado. How far can you go without having an accident? Not far. You're right. You're right. You will not go far because you're going to have an accident. But the way we women are, and men are too, everyone, we're thinking we don't know how to build a relationship. We don't have a formula, but somehow we can make it work. Do you get it? And if we don't have a blueprint and a formula, what do you think we use as a guideline to start a relationship?
I feel like if we don't have a blueprint, we just reenact what our parents' relationship was.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. What else?
Simply examples from TV, from mainstream media's literature, which is really misleading.
Yes. Statistically, for people just going by the feelings of either love or lust or he's good looking or I'm attracted to her, if they just follow their feelings to make a relationship work, 60% of the marriages fail in the world and 80% of the relationship fail based on love expert Esther Perel. This is a high number. 60% of marriages around the world and 80% of the relationship. And a lot of people also, they think, well, I kind of know men because I had them before, I had the relationship before, and men feel like, well, I have a lust feeling toward her, so that's enough to start building a relationship. And what that reminds me of, and they're doing relationship their way, and what it reminds me of, one time, years ago, I had a root canal. And I went to dentist, and dentist told me, Alisa, you have to drink antibiotics for 7 days. And he gave me these giant pills. Will you do that? I said, yes, sure. I come home and look at these giant antibiotics and I say to myself, no, I'm just going to take a half and I'll be fine. So I come back a week later. He looks at my mouth where he did the root canal and he said, have you taken the full antibiotic for 7 days? And starting the spirituality back then, I thought, well, lying is not a good idea. And I told him, well, I was just taking a half. He said, well, that's why your gums and the place where I did the root canal haven't fully healed. So you have to take now new antibiotics for another 7 days. And if you were worried that the antibiotics gonna ruin your immune system, well, these ones are definitely gonna start ruining it because they're much stronger. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because we are trying to create relationship, doing it our way, not knowing anything. Like I don't know anything about dentistry and root canal, and I was worried about hurting my immune system, and I did it my way, and I hurted my gums even more than I did good. Does it make sense? And I would like for you to share is how you're going into relationship or have done your marriage or relationship in the past, knowing that it kind of didn't work, but you were doing it anyway, being certain that, no, I kind of know it will work because you had love, you fell in love, or you had feeling of lust, or you had desire, or anything else that comes into your mind. Look back and you got to acknowledge what things you did that actually harmed the relationship.
The reason why I said we'll just emulate your parents' relationship is because I didn't necessarily like their blueprint, but I wasn't consciously trying to recreate what they had. And with my daughter's father, one day I realized how much I was being my mother and he was being just like my father, and it wasn't like I was very masculine. I handled everything. I was like, I'm so stressed. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. I just feel stressed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do?
Yeah. So repeating the blueprint subconsciously by what your parents were doing and running on your masculine energy and trying to do it all. And you now see how much you hurt the relationship and it didn't work.
And it was me, for sure.
Yes, yes, because it takes guts and courage to acknowledge what we've done wrong. Anybody else?
I went a lot by lust in my relationships. Like, I feel like I always, because like my body shape, I had hourglass shape, I have a big butt. So I always felt like, like that was my asset. So I always use like, okay, to validate myself, like using my body a lot and also the masculinity as well. But I feel like I did both. Like I was masculine, but I fought a lot of the things my mom did. Like I was codependent, like hyper dependent on expecting a man to do more for me because I didn't want to be like my mom, just alone and with multiple boyfriends or just not having a 2-family home. This was before my kids, but what I realized with my past relationships and then with my child's dad, I saw more of just straight masculine energy, like masculine and masculine fighting each other.
Yeah.
But it was like a series of things.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing. I appreciate it. So going on the feeling of lust, definitely not gonna get you far because the feeling of lust, chemistry, do you know how long it stays on an average between a man and a woman? Who wants to guess? Statistically, yeah, okay, go ahead. Anybody?
6 months.
Very close, 7 months. Sometimes it's only 3 months. For some, it could be very seldom 3 years, but on the average, only 7 months. And then it's gone. Going back to the formula that I would like for you, the statement that I would like for you to remember is that with confidence, I will say that it's better to have a bad formula for a relationship than no formula at all. And formula that you inherit from your parents, it's not a formula. You're doing it on autopilot and it's going to get you where your parents were. So it's not a formula. It's kind of autopilot repeating the same thing. And so people do need to have a guideline, formula, blueprint in order to create a stable and healthy and happy lasting relationship. Otherwise, it's impossible. And why would I say bad formula is better than not having a formula at all? I don't like healthcare in the United States. I don't. But at the same time, if I will ever break my leg, I'm happy that a hospital just 1 mile away and I know I'll be taken care of. But if you're in Somalia, there are no doctors. And there are no hospitals that somebody can take care of you if you break your leg or if you're in labor. So that's what I'm saying. It's better to have kind of a bad system. Again, it's not, maybe for some it's a great system, but in my opinion, there's too much emphasis on pharmacy than healing, actually. And that's what I'm referring to. But it's better to have this system than no system at all. Can we agree to that? Yeah. But some people say, Alisa, I've done everything you said, because sometimes people listen to my videos on YouTube or TikTok and they say, Alisa, I did everything you said, but my relationship still did not work. And friends, you gotta have your own philosophy and just add things that I'm sharing. But you cannot make anyone, me or anyone, responsible for your relationship, because you gotta take what really works and make it your own philosophy for life. Make your own formula. Maybe it will be close to mine, maybe not, but you gotta have a formula. That's what I'm trying to right now put the seed into your mind. Just going by feeling and hoping that you're gonna get there someday, one day, get married and have a happy marriage or relationship, it's just not gonna happen. Okay? So what we discussed is that, again, in our society, we're right now building our relationship, looking at our parents, at our friends, at TV, celebrities, etc. And if we will be even more honest, as a ladies, let's see where we spend majority of our time. In our teen years, as a young adults, and even now, what are we doing majority of the time? What are we learning? What are we putting our time and energy into? Who would like to share? You can share it from yourself or as a society in general.
I'd say work and career is what was focused.
Yes, very good. Anyone else?
Yeah, school. And if I wasn't at school, I was working.
Yes.
All the side hustles you could think of, I was working.
Yes, beautiful. Anyone else?
I agree, school.
And so we're getting the point here that since little girls, we go to kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school, we're learning. We're learning algebra, we're learning chemistry, English, science, all kind of classes. But let's be honest, how many hours in school, in college, or in your life did you really spend time learning about how to create a happy and lasting relationship, a marriage, how to be a good wife or good girlfriend, how to be a good mother, and how to raise kids? Have you ever taken a class like that? And how much time have you spent to learning that subject? Let's be honest.
0 hours.
0 hours. Now, do you see the problem here? Yeah. So in a society, we learn to study and work and how to perform at work and in school. But we learn 0 hours how to be good girlfriends, good wives, good mothers, and how to make a relationship last. And that's where now there's a problem. We're not taught to really be happy in a relationship or in a marriage. Will you disagree at all? No? Thank you. So now I would like for you to be straight and very honest. And I will state this, that in the 21st century, 99% of the relationship are built on this stage. The stage is called a sexual desire. And you want to write it down. This is the first stage of the relationship, and it's called the sexual desire. And again, in the 21st century, 99% of the people are building the relationship on this stage. And now I have a question for you. Why do you think people are building the relationship based on sexual desire?
I personally feel like our society has been very sexualized through media and just in general.
Thank you. Samantha, anyone else?
Yeah, I'd agree. It's not only has it been so sexualized, but it's almost, even in the US, I feel like it's still kind of like that forbidden fruit subject. So lots of times I think as humans, when we talk about something as a forbidden fruit, it's almost like that that bad thing that we really want, or that's like more tempting, more desirable. So I think even though we are over sexualized, there's still a taboo attached to it. So I think it's talked about in a way that still makes us feel, it's almost like how those songs, it's so bad, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. Ladies, yes, you're touching on a really important and good points. But the reason actually why people start the relationship on the sexual desire is because you don't have to learn it. It's just there. You met a guy or you met a woman and you feel this chemistry and sexual desire. And you're like, he's the one. I have a butterflies. She's hot. I want her. Oh, that means I gotta have her. And that's how people go into the relationship because of this chemistry, butterflies, and sexual desire. Because you don't have to learn it. You feel the hormones between your legs, and then like, oh, she's the one. And now I will be talking on one side about 6 stages how to create a happy and lasting relationship, but also to the side of 4 stages of love. Because love has also 4 stages. It's a harmonious feeling of love, consists of actually not stages, 4 feelings. And the first feeling is also physical. I would like for you to maybe either type it or I can write it down for you. Physical. Second one is emotional. Third is intellectual. And third is spiritual. I know I have a bad handwriting, so if you have a hard time understanding, you can just type it out. So this is how men and women, when we're together and have those 4 feelings, we feel harmony in the relationship. By the way, the spiritual comes much later, and that's when the person truly feels authentic love. But my question, how do men fall in love versus women? Because it's very different. Men and women fall in love different. How do you think men fall in love? Through physical, emotional, intellectual, or spiritual connection?
Physical.
How men fall in love, and we want to stay here. Even though it's a taboo what you're sharing, and thank you for sharing. But men do fall in love through physical connection, meaning sexual desire. He saw, you're sexy, you're beautiful in 10 seconds. By the way, what happens in the man's brain, he's already making love to you in 50 different positions. In the first 10 seconds when he just saw you. Yeah, I would like to try this out with her. And that's how he starts pursuing you. A woman, how do you think she falls in love? Through physical, emotional, intellectual, or spiritual connection?
Mostly emotional. I would guess that mostly emotional, maybe sometimes intellectual.
Okay, let's test that. You met a guy. He is very emotional. He's telling you all the wonderful things. He has a 6-pack. But then you're asking him questions and he has no answer. And you're starting to realize that he's very dumb. He's not very intelligent, but he's very feely, and he has 6-pack, and he looks like a Brad Pitt 20 years ago, or Denzel Washington 20 years ago. But then you see his IQ is very low, but he's feely, lovey. How are you still attracted to him?
No.
No. So how do you think woman falls in love?
So intellectual.
Absolutely. Intellectual. And why woman falls in love? Through intellectual connection. Why?
I would say because to follow a man, you have to know that he's smart.
Why? Yes, smart, but why?
I think intelligence, especially nowadays, is almost more linked to survival. So like if your man is intelligent, or you feel like you have that connection, you know, it's more deep down inside, you know, he has more of an ability to protect you.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Because when a man is smart, you feel protected by him, especially when you're vulnerable, when you're pregnant, and when you are having a newborn baby. Anywhere in the world, woman stays at least 3 years with a child, and she doesn't work. Only in the United States, you take a baby at 3 months old and put it in a daycare. Everywhere else, husband protects you. And subconsciously, a woman looks at the man, how he answers questions, how he asks questions, what he's talking about on a date. And in the first 10 to 30 seconds, she makes a decision whether he's smart or dumb. And if he's dumb, she's not interested. She's not going to sit on a date and enjoy hoping that she's going to see him again. And so woman falls in love through intellectual connection. Okay? Make sense? Any questions about that? Neuroscientists and psychologists proved that men is attracted to 80,000 women. 80,000 women. It doesn't matter whether she's older or young, brunette, blonde, red hair, overweight, skinny, athletic, with tattoos, no tattoos, Asian, black, white, Russian, Latin, Japanese. It doesn't matter. It's just when a man is married and have a relationship, if he respects his woman, he's not gonna show that he's attracted to 80,000 women. Do you get that? But other men will. But we have to acknowledge that men are very sexual creatures. And yes, even if he's married, he's still attracted to 80,000 other women. And that's normal. That's normal. Yeah? And also, even though men's sexuality is very high, and we're thinking that they're complex and they will be cheating around all the time, right and left, men are very actually simple. They don't go around cheating just because they're attracted to 80,000 women. It takes much, much more. But we as a women really worried that in the first stage, if I'm not gonna have sexual intimacy with him, he's gonna be sleeping around. And that's the biggest fear of a woman. She wants to start pleasing him sexually if a woman is insecure and jumps in bed with him, sometimes because she wants to, and sometimes she's just worried that if she's not gonna please him, someone else will. But what's important to going back to those 4 levels of love, 4 feelings of love. If you have all 4, that's the true feeling and harmony of love. It's a woman's duty to make her man to feel all 4. And now I have a question for you. How can you inspire a man to go from physical to emotional to intellectual and then spiritual level? Because men, by design, where do you think they want to stay?
In physical stage.
Exactly. They just want to think, okay, let me take her to a restaurant once or twice, pay for it, and then we're gonna get in bed and have sex. Because the biggest desire and drive a man has is what? It's a sexual drive. That's what moves them 100%. And so my question to you, how can you move a man from physical to emotional, intellectual, and spiritual? Because by the way, if a man experiences all 4, he is happy. But without a woman, he won't be able to get all 4. He will just stay in first level. He thinks that's all he wants, and that's all gonna make him happy. And that is the question for you. How can you move a man to all 4?
I would say doing it by yourself, like in yourself.
No.
Working on yourself.
Mm-mm.
No.
Mm-mm. No, men are very lazy by design. That is their comfort zone. For example, if a man has a desire to just have a sex with a woman, and for example, he's just going to Dunkin' Donuts to get a donut for $1, and he comes to Dunkin' Donuts and Dunkin' Donuts is giving him a steak from Ritz-Carlton that is $150. He'll get mad. He's like, why do I need a steak for $150 in Dunkin' Donuts? I just wanted a donut for $1. And so man has this mentality that if he's dating a woman to just have sex, And then 6 months later, she's like, but where are we planning to get engaged? Or a year later, are we gonna get married? He gonna get really angry. It's like, you've been sleeping with me. We've been living together. I had a wonderful time. Why do you want more from me? It's like in Dunkin' Donut. I don't want a steak. I just want a $1 donut. Do you ladies connect? So no, if you're moving into spirituality and doing a yoga and meditation, and he might not do anything at all. So how? How can you inspire a man to go from physical to emotional, intellectual, and spiritual?
I think through showing appreciation. Like, I feel like when you appreciate a man in different ways, he's more inspired to, not to learn more from you, but to do more for you.
Not here. No, because you are referring to already in a relationship and marriage, but we are in a dating. Think of you in a dating, and he just wants to have sex with you.
Withholding sex until you know?
Until you know what?
Yes.
Until
That
you know
he's
what?
your dude?
That he's what?
That he's the dude you want, like till he proposes or something?
Until stage second, at least.
Ah, beautiful. You're starting to get the point. The only thing that will get a man inspired to move into anything you want him is to holding your cherry, withholding sex. Yes, absolutely. Because a man is looking at a woman. All he's thinking is how much he wants her. And he's taking her to restaurant, and he's taking her to movies, and to concerts, and to Starbucks, and to vacations, and everything he's doing that because he wants to get a cherry. But do you know that in the first 2 stages, even though you don't know the second stage, yes, we're talking about only the first stage, sexual desire, but in the first 2 second stages, you're a stranger to him. Even if he'll be telling you, I'm in love with you, you're the best woman, he has no connection to you whatsoever. You're a stranger. And even if you disappear from a month later, even though you had already sex 20 times, and then you disappear, like, oh, okay, next, because he hasn't developed feelings for you. Any questions?
If a man figures it out that you're not sleeping with him and like you're taking your time, he's probably going to know, because they're not dumb, they're gonna know that you're actually withholding it to get something out of them. So what will happen when the day you will give up your sherry? We'll know the man will say, look, I already got what I wanted. Now moving on. Will that happen?
Eddie, thank you for sharing, but this is your fears. And that's why we're in this dialogue, and you will know when to sleep and how to sleep. Because women have this fear that men are this way, and men think women are this way. But in the reality, women, we don't know men, and men don't know women. And you are giving them too much credit, thinking that they know us. They do not. They're so lost with regards to women. Very lost. And because we don't know each other, in a relationship, woman is trying to be with man how she would like him to be with her. And a man is trying to be with a woman how he would like a woman to be with him. For example, when I was dating my husband in the beginning, my husband, because he viewed women that if women share anything, that they're complaining. And so he would stay quiet a lot of times. And then I found out that he thinks about that if you share, you're complaining. And so we overcame that and he started sharing himself. And so we prejudge men. And we're thinking, well, I do something for you, so you can do something back for me. And we do a lot of pleasing, investing into them. So for example, you're walking in the park with a man, No, first of all, you walk in the park with a girlfriend and you say to your girlfriend, "Are you hungry?" And even if she's not hungry, she'll look at you and say, "You're hungry, aren't you?" And you say, "Yes, let's go eat somewhere." Men are not like that. If you're walking in the park with them and you're saying, "Are you hungry?" You're giving him a hint that you're hungry, and he'll say no. He will not get an idea that you are hungry, and that's why you're asking him. He will not say, "Do you want to go to this restaurant or this cafe?" Because they don't understand these hints. Do you get that? But we women are like that. We can read between the lines. But to a man, you can say, "You know what? I'm actually hungry. Do you mind if we're going to stop by this restaurant?" And he'll be very happy that you're not having this hidden thing that you're trying for him to figure out what you want, but you're being honest. "I like this Italian restaurant. Can we stop here?" Do you get it, Edith? So you will understand that this is your prejudgment of men and not understanding men's nature. And most women are like that. We don't know men, and men don't know us. Yes.
I'm like embarrassed to admit, but I have a hard time with that. Do you have any suggestions how to cultivate being so blunt and asking for things?
Yes. Because for a man, for example, there are single tasking. We're multitasker. Okay? So for example, if a man behind the wheel is driving, he's thinking, "I gotta get her to the restaurant. I gotta get her to the restaurant." He cannot think of, "How are you? How was your day?" We can talk and we can drive to a restaurant. And we're even thinking what we're gonna order. Men are not like that. They are one single-sided. And so if a woman is dating a man and she's thinking, he needs to figure out what I like, which restaurant to take me, how to order wine and pasta and etc., or pizza or Mediterranean, it's a lot of stress and pressure on him. And so man is single-sided. He's driving, he cannot interact with you. He gets you to the restaurant, he parks. Now he's thinking how to get a best table, So he got the best table. Now he drank a water, and now he can pay attention to you a little bit. But if he has to look at the menu and order and again have a dialogue with you, he's again overwhelmed. Men are single tasked. They cannot multitask, okay? And so when you want him to read between the lines, it puts enormous pressure on him and he feels like a failure because he could not please you. And for example, he got you to the restaurant, Thai restaurant, but you like Italian. He now takes it personally that he's a loser, that he doesn't know that you actually like Italian. And if this food came in and something was too salty or too spicy, now he feels double bad that this food is double salty or double spicy. He takes it all personally, like he is the owner of this restaurant. He is the chef of this restaurant, and he is the waiter of this restaurant. And so we gotta help men by saying, even if you know a guy only for 30 minutes and now he shows his interest, you can say, "By the way, I just want to let you know that I am hungry. Do you mind if we're gonna grab something to eat?" And you went to a restaurant, he did not pay for you. For you, it's a check mark. For me, it's a deal breaker. I will never see this guy again. Make sense? And you look at not what he's saying, but the action. And a lot of women in the first stage or second or third stage, they're looking at men talking. But men talking is very cheap. We gotta look at what is he doing. Is he opening the doors? Is he closing the doors? Is he ordering you what you like? You said you want Italian restaurant and he said, no, this Mexican food is better. This restaurant is better and he's taking you there. For you, it's a check mark. A selfish guy. He is not trying to please you. Because the first two stages of the relationship is all about a woman. All about a woman. A man has to figure out what you like, what food you like, what flowers you like, what color you like. You like for him to open the door. You like for him to pick you up. You like for him to call you in the morning and text you in the evening to tell you my queen or my princess. All of that he needs to learn. And the only thing he's learning that is by you not giving your cherry. Because then he has a desire. Why she's not giving me? Why she's not giving me? When will she give it to me? And maybe 2-3 weeks later, he might even ask you, so when we might get close and intimate, And you tell him, you be honest. You know, I don't know you. I need to get to know you. Well, we've been on the 5 dates. I understand. But I really take time to get to know man. And maybe second month is like, when are we going to have sex? And you can tell him, well, you know, I'll be honest with you. When we get really close and exclusive, and you see that I'm the woman that you want to see the rest of your life with, and see that you're the man I want to spend the rest of my life with, yeah, we're going to be close and intimate, but we're not there. I still don't know you. And to a man now, he views you as you're a high value woman. And now he looks at you. That means you've been like that with all men. And he starts to respect you. Do you understand? But if you slept with him on a second, third, or fourth date, he views you as an easy woman that slept with other men, many other men, on the second, third, and fourth date. And he not gonna try to move from physical to any other levels. And by the way, on the physical level, man is not in love with you. Men start falling in love only on the third stage. He's not going to even develop the emotions for you. Any questions about that? Because this was a very good question. Yes. Yes, Sarah.
So you answered some of my question, but I was going to ask, so I'll reword, I have it different, but so for me, I've been abstinent for 2 years, so I'm very strong on it, and I'm not giving up my cherry unless I have a ring on my finger, or for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I did want to say, like, do I bring it up? Like, do I bring up, like, I'm abstinent? Like, how do I say it in a way, or do I wait for him to ask? But I feel like a guy would ask more than the woman. But, like, do I make it be known that I'm abstinent? Or, like, how do I say it where I'm like, you got to marry me? Like, how, you know, in a nice, like,
Yeah.
do I wait for them or they wait for...
This is a great question, Sarah. A man, if you're going to tell him that, in the first 2 stages, he will run away. So yeah, you do not talk about it. This conversation for the 3rd stage. In the beginning, you just gently just saying, I don't know you. Because you really don't know him. Because people have sex on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th date, but they're strangers. They just have hormones. They want, he's good looking, or he's smart, or she's sexy, but they really don't know each other. And that's not when to have sexual intimacy. Because if you have the sexual intimacy, even if you get married 2-3 years later, you're still gonna have problems because the relationship started on the sexual desire. And so no, you don't talk about it. You do not. And also, women tend to go on the 2nd date in a wedding dress, subconsciously. Because she liked his last name, she liked his photo or their conversation over the phone or text or first date, and she's already going on the 2nd date wearing a wedding dress, thinking, oh, how his last name gonna sound with my name, what kind of kids we're gonna look, how they're gonna look like. We have to stop that. That really scares men off. No dreaming, no fantasizing about that, not talking about it. I am virgin, or I haven't had sex for 2 years and you have to marry me to have intimacy with me. None of that. You can't because all of that, all he's thinking about it in the first 3 to 4 months is how to get in bed with you. And he's working hard to get in bed with you, right? And that's what you want to continue. And that's why talking to him all day or texting all day is a bad formula. Seeing him 5 days a week is a bad formula. Moving in with him after a month or 2, it's a bad formula. No, you can't do that. And that's why for a man and a woman, they should be dating other men and they should be dating other women. And now I'll explain to you why. If a woman has a sexual intimacy with a guy, even if it's after 2 or 3, 4 weeks, what do you think happens to a woman?
She becomes more attached to that man?
Yes, 100%. And if she's now attached, She's now thinking about this guy, but this guy is dating other women, or he is busy. He did not call her to take her on a date on Saturday or on Friday. He's busy. And now she's desperately waiting for him and desperately waiting for him, putting all the eggs in one basket. And that is a disaster. A big, big disaster. Woman cannot be attached to a man. Husband, fiance, worst case exclusive relationship, but not in the first two stages at all. And the only way a woman not gonna be attached to a man if she holds her cherry. Do you understand? Yes. And so a woman, if he's not calling her, she didn't have intimacy with him, she's seeing girlfriends, she's seeing other guys, she's going on a date, and she's talking to other guys, she feels wonderful. Make sense? If you're in this program masterclass, I will tell you all about it. You're just 10 steps ahead of time. Don't rush the process, okay? Very good. We really have to sink in the first stage, because women and men start the relationship with sexual desire. And we have to fully dive in and understand this, that the relationship will fail if we start a relationship on the sexual desire. It will not be sustained. Anya, any questions?
Yes, I have one question, because I understand it and I think it's a lot of truth in what you are saying in this formula. But on the other hand, I see many couples who started the relationship like that, that not maybe on first, second, but fifth day they went and started the intimate connection. And many of those couples are together. So this is my question mark you had, that plenty of nowadays relationship starts like that. And some of them fail, of course, some of them lasts. So
Anya, I will tell you, thank you for this question. The time, if you'll see these couples sustain 20, 30 years, they're just lucky, right? Because they're either moving into spirituality and overcoming a lot of things, and maybe they will be able to get on one journey. But this is 1%. Do you get it? Maybe they are together for 5 or 10 years, but you can test couples like that only 20, 30 years later. And are they happy? Because even if they're together, it doesn't mean that their relationship is harmonious. It's very bumpy. Makes sense? Because if they started on a sexual desire, they don't have a harmonious flow in emotional stage, in intellectual, and 99%, they definitely not going to have a connection, spiritual connection. And if we don't achieve all four, couple will never feel the true harmony and love, because only in a spiritual connection, people truly feel love. Because all before that, it's in the beginning, it's the last stage when you desire someone. But the love kicks in only in the spiritual. My husband is still doing one step forward, two step back, one step forward, two steps back, but he's still moving. He's still putting the effort. If a relationship starts on the physical level, husband or a boyfriend will never have a desire to get to the spiritual. Make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but really good question. Thank you for that.